Hello YouTube, Jared here with our first video for the channel. Welcome to Games Done Slow and Bad, where we play games slowly and often badly. We're hoping to bring you some longer, lore and creative-centric content that we enjoy watching on YouTube and we enjoy playing in games. So without further delay, let's jump into a personal favorite of mine, Illusions of Gaia. It was released in North America in 1994, and I was about 6 at the time I played this game, and I played it to absolute death. Favorite game by far. This game combines some real-world inspired world map locations and some very forgiving RPG elements. So, the basic storyline here is that it's a traditional Chosen One story where a young boy doesn't realize how special he is destined to save the world, which, on the surface, nothing special. But, when you really get into it, the fact that it did combine a lot of these real-world locations made it super interesting. It was sort of conspiracy-ish, you know, this is how the world came together. Obviously not, you know, that anyone actually believes that this is how the world actually turned from sort of a Pangea into the world we have today, but it was really interesting. It's tied loosely into a trilogy that includes Soul Blazer and Terra Magna. Unfortunately, none of these games made it to the Super NES Classic, which is a tremendous shame because they are awesome games. And what's even more baffling is none of them made it to the Virtual Console. And, I mean, there are some really terrible titles that have made it to the Virtual Console. So, this game was made by Enix, who merged with Square a few years down the line to make the company that we're sort of used to today, making some really quality RPG games. So, as this title screen sort of winds down, I'll just give you a few sort of ideas of what we're going for here. So this is going to be a fairly slow playthrough. I am by no means an expert at this. And you might be saying, Jared, why are you doing this if you're by no means an expert? Well, one thing I've always enjoyed doing on YouTube is watching some of the older game content. You know, when someone's hooked up their old Super NES to a recording device and recorded some footage, I really tremendously enjoyed it. Even with ROMs, I have no objection to that whatsoever either, but it's really nice to see sort of the old grainy footage off of a real device. So I wanted to bring to you, as the first thing this channel kicked off with, a game that I played to death. So let's jump right in. So this is sort of the main page. You know, traditional sort of layout of starting your journey, which is just launching the game, erasing the trip diary, because everything's sort of formatted as a quote-unquote diary. You can copy it, make different versions. This actually comes in handy. Throughout this game, there are these items you're searching for. It was an older collectathon for these red jewels, and this game was very unforgiving. There is no backwards progression, so if you miss one of these red jewels, you are done. So as a child, I was using this function a bunch, because there are times, and you'll see very early on, where the RNG is very unforgiving. So let's jump right in. And I've cleared this cartridge out. I actually just got this cartridge in the mail not that long ago, so I'm thrilled to jump into this. So here's the controls. A, attack talk, B, item cancel, selected the item palette, Y, not use. So you can see it's very, very simple, which is I think one of the reasons that 6-year-old me enjoyed it. So you start out in school. You are Will. Your name is Will. A year has passed since I went to the Tower of Babel with my father. My father and his party met with disaster. Somehow, I made it back to South Cape. I still can't believe my father is gone. I'll never believe it. When I grow up, I'll be an explorer and see the world. Somewhere, I will meet my father. Teacher, that's all for today's lesson. You four, do your best not to fall behind. Demons have appeared outside of town. If you go very far, you must go with your parents. So, interesting little side factoid, and I'll let you guys sort of scroll through. We're going to focus on getting a lot of the talking content in this game slow. You guys can read it for yourselves. I'll read some of it that it's sort of important. This game was obviously translated from Japanese, and some of the translation is a little bit hinky. And little interesting factoid here is you can see this doesn't really look like a school, right? It looks more like a chapel. In the Japanese version of the game is a chapel. This is a religious school. One of the weird things they sort of cut out. Can't remember if there's anything over here. So you can see just some religious overtones here. You can see a cross in the window. Obviously, they didn't do a great job of editing all of that out. So this is one of the things that was fun and interesting is there's nothing that tells you to go through this door, but it introduces you to a really early concept in the game. That's these warps to the dark zone, dark space. Sorry. And as a kid, you're like, whoa, what just happened? And am I supposed to be hitting this thing with a stick? So this is sort of your basic baseline introduction to what is going on here. I am Gaia, the source of all life. I will help you on your journey. Only one with the dark power can see this space. You are the chosen one. So already, minutes into the episode, we see exactly what's going on here. In the dark space, you can record a travel journal. Stop there before you depart. Record what's happened so far. So this is the save, don't save sort of functionality. Finish recording. Continue your journey. This is where you have the option of sort of jumping out of the adventure or continuing. So we're going to continue for now. So one thing about this game is there's a lot of rooftop travel. There's a lot of little hidden things, and I'll show you a few here. So first, let's talk to him. Hey, Will, how many times have I told you not to come up here? You have a habit of jumping down from places. Well, I guess I can't really stop you. This I felt was really genius looking back at it, because as a child, I would have never thought to have jumped off this roof unless someone told me that I like jumping off of things. But for one sec, let's head in here. Oh, I found a red jewel. Again, no indication that you could find something back here. There's one of those trolley red jewels. So, no way, I can't actually jump. And look, another jump, just to reinforce that concept. You look like a fast runner. To run, push the control pad twice. Again, brilliantly, right? I might have never figured this out until I, accidentally tapped it twice, but if you're someone who likes to talk to the NPCs, you learn it pretty quickly. So, you're just, strolling around as a child. You're like, oh, can't go over here. Oh, can't go over here. Let me talk to this guy. I'd like to go up those stairs. Hold it. Many demons are prowling around outside the town. Didn't your teacher warn you to not leave town without your parents? Well, that's terrible, because I don't have parents, because they died in an adventure. You jerk. An astronomer friend said something very strange. A star is approaching the Earth. So, one indication of things we're going to hear about later on. And this game is absolutely full of them. So you see the pots. Woman next to pot. I'm worried there's been a lot of strange merchants lately doing business. So, again, you see the map gives you a lot of hidey holes, things to explore. This is your house. This is another house. Just want to show you something that blew my mind as a kid. People. No people. People are moving around all over the map. So they walk these general routes. And it's really fascinating. Yep, won't sell a weapon to a child. Yep. Only ironic because, child is the main character in this game. So here's someone playing essentially red light, green light. I can't remember if there's something behind this, if it was worth, screwing around until I find something. I'm pretty sure it isn't. So this is the guy who ends up over there we just talked to. There's a traveling merchant going door to door, getting rejected. So, little factoid, that's just a basic little plot developer right there that, hey, you're next to the water. Wait a second, I'm next to the water? Oh man, I walk a little ways down. Man, I am next to the water. See this guy? We're going to be dealing with this guy shortly. I can't pull it up. We are going to get punched in the face with RNG to get another red jewel out of this guy. And it is going to be painful. I feel sorry for Seth. I understand why. He hates to see his parents fighting every day. Well, a little bit of development about Seth, who was in school with us. How cool is that? You open the door, you have no idea what's going to happen, and a freaking pot flies out. This is one of the things that just I found super interesting when I was like a 6-year-old, that like all of these little scripted things, these little fillers, just existed in the game to sort of, you know, flesh out all these characters a little bit more. And then here you go. How many times have you seen your parents doing this sort of thing? Mom's in one room, dad's in the other room, ain't talking, you know, things went down. It's no joke, that man. I put up with it for Seth's sake, but if it weren't for him, I'd have left long ago. Yep. Yep. No commentary needed for that. As a husband myself, you sort of adapt to the concept that it's no longer your hard-earned money. So here's Lance's house. So again, Lance's frail mother. So your father has been lost at the Tower of Babel for a year now. It seems like only yesterday. So nice little tidbits like that, fleshing out a bit more. I don't think there was anything down here. Oh, Red Jewel, Trolley Red Jewel. Super glad that I did that. Before the end of this episode, I'll pull up a guide on my phone as I do this, just to make sure that I don't get trolled by any of this. So here's where Eric lives. Obviously, Eric is coming from the wealthier family, because as you can see, his house is 3 times larger. Forgive me for one sec. There we go, Eric's house. It's the little things in life that make you rich or poor. Well, heard any good stories? Yeah, no, this makes you rich. This house makes you rich. We'll see Will's house in a second and we'll be sad. Eric's father. Everyone is jealous of this big house. It's nothing. We moved to this town before anyone else. Okay. Yep. No, you're rich. Own it, man. You're filthy rich. You are the 1%, man. Own it. Don't worry, I'm not on fire. It's just a treatment for my sore body. Cleaning this big house all day makes my brain ache. So this was something as a kid, when I walked up here, I was tremendously confused about what on earth is going on here. Because this lady does indeed look like she's on fire. I have to imagine that in the American translation of this game, that they had to throw that little bit of text in. Maybe it made more sense in the foreign translations. But no, does not make sense. Okay, so back up on the roof. So we've pretty much made our way all up and around. Let's hit 2 more houses here. So Gaia makes the pot. He's cooking in this pot because there's no stove. Little oddity. Again, there's no stove in the house. Here we go. This is my house. So this is Will's house. This is Will's grandmother. Welcome home, Will. Dinner isn't ready yet. Go outside and play for a while. Coming home at this hour probably means you had to stay after school again. Haha, excellent. Even if a boy can't study, he should show a little initiative. Again, not sure that that's what they wanted to get across in that line, but neat little thing. It's really telling you, hey, you have something you need to go do on this map. Get back out there and go finish your job. Just fascinating. So, oh, troll guy moved. Even if he moves to another place, he can't pull it up. Well, we're going to test that. So there's a seaside cave. So this is where the kids all hang out. Little interesting factoid that the first part of our story is going to take place in here. Just want to say, yeah, oh my goodness. Pot behind this guy, what does he have to say? He lifted the strange teapot. Red Jewel, I have on other occasions done this. No word of a lie. 60 or 70 times walking in and out of this cave to attempt to trigger that event to happen, because it is pretty much RNG, and it is amazing that just happened. So let's continue the story now. We have our 3 trolley red gems. What is it, Will? It's late. I'm playing cards with Seth. Wait a minute. So it's funny because, again, you look at this sprite and you're kind of like, what are they doing? There's cards, but you don't quite know they're cards, especially if you're a kid. I'm going to win again for sure. Okay, so you saw I just moved that statue. Just wanted to make sure I got the button mapping right. So Eric rushes in. Big news, big news. The Princess of Edward Castle has run away. They say she came to South Cape. That's all? You came in such a hurry that I thought something had really happened. Liar! Maybe the soldiers will come here looking for her. The soldiers from Edward's Castle look so cool. I want a steel helmet too. I just love that little bit because it's just like he runs in and just shouts out this big important piece of plot, and everyone's just like, alright, and? Which, if you think about it, if you have a princess, generally I'm not thinking that the peasants are going to much care that the princess ran away. Sort of not their problem. I want to see Will's mysterious power. So this is a sort of an interesting little introduction in the game to what you can actually do. And it's sort of a sneaky tutorial. He can move things without touching them. Now, if you didn't know hitting the L and the R button caused this to happen, you're sort of like, what on earth are they talking about? He moved that statue. Show me again. Okay. Oh, it moved. So the flute magical power is able to do a little bit of telekinesis, which is important in many of the other aspects of the game. So let's go around the table and talk to everyone and then progress the story a little bit so we can get into some combat, which I think is brilliant in this game. Next, pick a card, any card. I'll put 4 cards face down. Pick the one you think is the Ace of Diamonds. So this mechanism actually occurs in the game a few times, if memory serves. And brilliantly, it doesn't matter which one you choose. So, I will get quiet at times in this as I roll through these sort of longer speech bubbles. Just, you can read through them at your own pace. I'm not going to try and do all the voices in the world. I'll drone on if something interesting comes up. I think it was magic! Well, that's a very interesting thing to come up with. 5 senses: sight, hearing, taste, smell, and touch. I think Will's psychic power is some kind of 6th sense. Cessa is too complicated for me to understand. I've always imagined Lance with sort of like the country bumpkin voice, because some of the lines of text just make him seem pretty dumb. So they go back to playing one more game, then he's going home. He's going to win again for sure. Again, thank you, developers, for not coming up with another line of text. If only I could do that. What, you mean move this statue left and right and up and down? Yeah, that's amazing. So you'll see the flute going. The flute going is the trigger to pull something towards you. You can't repel, so it is definitely one-directional. Oh, ran through that. Yep, it's getting late. Better head home. So the game, again, is telling you exactly what to do. So I just wanted to make sure. I couldn't remember if the text changes, but I think the text changes after a few other events. Yep, so there's a sales guy. Let's walk past him into the house. And there's a pig. The pig wrecking the room. But why is there a pig in my house? It's just funny because they definitely could not come up with, like, what do we do to make this pig look like he's wrecking the room? So, like, let's just say it. Oink oink. I'm sorry, what was that? Oink oink. It's probably like my favorite line. Just oink oink. And there's the most random thing in the world. The game wants to clear the space to let a sprite come down. So instead of just drawing it at another angle, like you take 2 steps in any direction and suddenly this happens, they had the pig basically push you. Hamlet, which, my god, can we all just stop and admire the fact that it's named Hamlet? You shouldn't snort at strangers. Well, actually, he pushed me. Is this your house? Yeah, I'm a kid. It's definitely my house. Yeah. So? Frankly, you look a little shabby. This is how I start all the conversations with people I've just met. Hey, you look like garbage. Thanks. Well, excuse me. Your father, mother, not here, huh? Wow. Kara, you are a jerk. Is this a picture of your parents? Wow, hey, can you throw a little more salt in that wound? My father is an explorer. I know, the explorer. They say he was lost. Okay, so let's just stop for a second and examine how much of a jerk Kara is. She knows his parents are dead, and just like mentioning it every like 15 seconds in this conversation. He'll come back someday. Are you sad? No. I'd be sad if it were me. I'm sorry. That's basically the 1994 equivalent of sorry, not sorry. Anyhow, is there a piano here? No, there isn't. Why would there be a piano here? You just walked through apparently my second floor, and now you're on my main floor. You don't see a piano, but you ask me if there's a piano. Not so smart. So that was sort of the game telling me, hey, head upstairs. They're singing upstairs now. So, like, if you try and leave, you can leave. Which I find just hilarious. Because you can just be like, nah, man, peace out in this game. I'm gonna go fight some demons. Which they won't let you do. So, head upstairs. Okay, here we go. So, why, game, did you make me go upstairs? And why are these people not in the main floor? Why are they in the bedroom, which I never actually noticed until now? There's only one bed in this house. So Will sleeps in the same bed as his grandparents. Despite having what appears to be a telephone right there, possibly, there's only one bed in this hovel. Welcome home, Will. When I sing opera, I lose track of the time. Dinner is not ready yet. Well, okay, that's interesting. Oh my, I haven't sung like this in a long time. Your grandmother Lola used to be a singer. I fell in love with her voice. That's why I married her. Okay, sort of unimportant text here. Other than the girl part. No! A scream from downstairs. Obviously, she just found out that Darth Vader is her father. It's that girl screaming, "No one learn her name, quickly!" So, speaking of the soldiers and how cool their steel helmets look. Princess, I've been looking for you! You are the worst guard ever. I don't know you. Be gone! Well, I mean, the hint is probably your father's crest on those soldiers' outfits. Hey, surprise everyone, she's the princess. In fairness, he really doesn't have anything better to do because his job is either this, or likely the subjugation of native populations. I'm sorry I lied to you, I'm Kitty Edward's daughter, Kara! Well, the text box did tell me that. Will, I feel as though we've met before, as if we're good friends. Some sort of Jedi mind trick. You literally were just making fun of my dead parents minutes ago, you jerk. I hope they throw you in the dungeon. And there goes the pig, sort of weebling out. No one's concerned about this pig sort of just doing his thing. We have no idea where he's going. Yeah, running away from home. That's like the #1 practical joke when you're a kid. Haha, Mom, I ran away from home! It's a little bits. There's a prison under the castle. It's built like a maze to keep the prisoners from escaping. I feel bad that I built a prison where people disappeared and are never heard from again. Okay. So, again, game telling you to go upstairs. I just want to show you that little bit about the licorice and rice and such. Snail pie. So, just in case you are completely new to 90s video games and the just punch you in the face plot lines, you are going to be in that prison shortly. That's what I'm sort of working towards. I had more snail pie for breakfast. Gross. I left you a slice. No thank you. Good morning, Will. A letter came from you, for you from King Edward. This is what's written in the letter. Bring the crystal ring from Ullman's Things to Edward Castle. King Edward. That's pretty. Even though Will had never heard it before, it seemed oddly familiar. Yeah, so music is going to play a huge role in this game. It's going to be a trigger for a lot of devices. You obviously have a flute. When you're Will, that's your weapon. It comes up quite a bit. I'm trying to get to sort of the done bad part of things. I don't believe that that's the trigger that changes. No, that doesn't change the text. You will come back here, but hey, we gotta go to the castle now. So, yeah, Edge's Castle, be careful, blah, blah, blah. So, here is the world map, and I'm gonna stop here for a second to just go through what is going on. The game is divided up in such a way that you will be able to jump between locations using this map, but only select locations and only some of the time. And what I mean by that is I'm going to go to Edward's Castle. Eventually I'll be able to come back to South Cape, but I will not be able to return to Edward's Castle. So it is incredibly important that for this collectathon aspect of the game, I have to make sure I get these red gems if I want 100% this. So what we're going to do really quick is we're going to go through a save. And I think this is where we're going to leave it off for today. So on the next episode, we're going to jump in. We're going to head to Edward's Castle. We're going to go through the combat aspect of things. And it is going to be pretty cool. So this is where we're going to leave off for today. Thanks everyone for watching. We hope you liked the video. Comment below with feedback. Let me know what games you played when you were younger that have this sort of nostalgic feel for you. Like us on Facebook. Hopefully you want to subscribe to the channel so we bring you more content like this. We'll read all the feedback left on this video and on our Facebook page. Facebook.com. We can be found at Games Done Slow and Bad. Twitter, Games_Done_Slow. You have a lot of choices in entertainment when it comes to YouTube, and we're happy you chose us today. Thank you so much for joining in. And this has been Games Done Slow and Bad, signing off.